if you want to be in HR, lead from the front, lead with integrity, lead with heart, and do your best to squash toxicity, discrimination, retaliation.
It is a failure of the responsibility of leaders in any organization, I don't care if it's SHRM or whoever, to walk your talk.
This is a Primal HR Hot Take with Terry Smith and Leslie Lulham.
Many of you have probably heard an acronym called SHRM, SHRM. It stands for the Society for Human Resource Management. They are a professional organization worldwide based in Alexandria, Virginia. They have over 360,000 members across 100 and some odd countries in the world. SHRM has long held itself up as the professional organization for human resources and has provided education, training, resources, certifications, all manner of things related to professionalizing the human resources function as much as possible. Early in December, SHRM received a judgment against them in a case involving harassment and discrimination and wrongful termination within their own organization, within the Alexandria, Virginia office. That judgment was $11.5 million handed down by a jury in that case. The irony of this, and what gets a lot of people that I know that are in HR really frosted, is that this is the group that holds themselves up to the highest possible standard and demands that all human resources professionals operate at that high level of standard. And for them to be in a position to suddenly be on the short end of a multi-million-dollar settlement against them for the very behaviors that they're trying to flush out of organizations is not only ironic, it's pathetic.
And you know what's even crazier? This isn't the first time it's happened for them.
Oh, no.
This is, I think, the third that I've read about, in addition to so many claims against them about a toxic work environment.
Yep.
And it is just shocking to see this coming from the organization that we all put on a pedestal, and we pay hundreds of dollars a month for a membership to their site so that we can access their best practices, their forms. This is how you properly do things like avoid discrimination and avoid wrongful termination and avoid retaliation.
Yes.
To find out that they might be one of the worst culprits is shocking, somewhat not surprising, and really disheartening to all of us in the HR world.
Yeah, well, it's not even that it's not even the highest standard. The fact that they got caught doing this at all. Yeah. I mean, once, okay, twice, wait, what? 3 times, 4 times? Stop. What's going on with this? And my frustration with that is that it not only is it hypocritical on their part, but it really casts a horrible view on us, on HR professionals, HR people who have been very, very supportive, not all of us, but many, have been very supportive of SHRM as an organization, as a professional association, et cetera. To have this happen, it really casts dirt on every one of us. And that, I can't abide. I'm so frustrated about that.
I 100% agree. Earlier today, we were talking about, don't meet your heroes. And
right.
Terry said to me, well, you should, and shared with me a lovely story about an author I met. But to take this back to HR, when you look at SHRM as the absolute authority on many of these issues, and then you find out not that they have one really huge lawsuit against them, $11.5 million. That's absolutely insane. And I hope their HR team's toes are curling. But to find out that this is another episode in a series of unfortunate events is, if it was just a one-off, I'd be like, wow, that really sucks and it's horrible. They should know better. Yeah. But it wasn't. It's not. More is coming to light about the type of work environment they're running for their employees, who are supposed to be the ones pioneering the way for the rest of us HR folks out here in the wild. And they're not doing that. They have failed miserably. And I'm interested to see what folks in the HR world do. Do we start looking elsewhere for our source of truth? And What are those sources?
Well, that's a great question. I love the way you put it a moment ago. Failure. That is a failure. It's a failure on the part of leadership. I put that right at the feet of Johnny Taylor, the CEO. I mean, he has been the masthead, if you will, of the organization for years. And for a CEO to allow something like this to happen and then to, in testimony, say, well, gee, I wasn't in on the decision. No, you probably weren't, Johnny, but guess what? You are the CEO. You own the culture of that organization. Nobody else. That comes right to your desk and it stays there. So for you to get into court and say, oh, well, I wasn't involved, I'm sorry. That makes no sense. And quite honestly, it's lame at best. Not to rag on Johnny, but you know what?
It is lame. I'll rag on Johnny.
I mean, you know, and it's not, like you said, it's not just unfortunate. It's a failure. It is a failure of the responsibility of leaders in any organization. I don't care if it's SHRM or whoever, you know, to walk your talk.
The executive team sets the tone for the whole team.
100%. And, you know, and look, if your executive team is consciously, intentionally cruel and mean, okay, then we know that about your culture. It's going to be cruel and mean. But if you're trying to tell people, oh, we run a great culture, we have an amazing culture, our people believe in us, and then these things happen, I mean, come on, how much hypocrisy can we take in one day, right?
Have you checked the Glassdoor reviews?
I have not.
Of SHRM?
I'm sure they're interesting.
I'm about ready to pull it up right now.
Nice. Well, I mean, so the organization literally, as the decision was dropping, was releasing a press release that says, hey, this was ridiculous. We're going to appeal. We're just going to appeal. You know, and again, you know, attorneys, right? I mean, I don't mean to disparage every attorney in the world, but that was attorney speak. That is an organization that's letting its lawyers talk for it. And I struggle with that because I look at other examples of situations like this where companies, you know, they take a moment and they say, yeah, you know what, we didn't do it right and we're going to take the punishment, okay? No. SHRM is saying, no, we're smarter, we did it right, and we're going to prove it by appealing it. Okay, that's just, you know, that's really rubbing salt in an open wound. And again, I really struggle with it. Now, what do I want to see happen with that? What I'd like to see, honestly, I'd like to see SHRM come back and say, you know, we thought about it, we went through our deepest perspectives on it, and we realized, now, you know, we just need to take our medicine. And we need to learn and be better. We need to take this as an opportunity to grow, to look inward, find where our problems are, address them, fix them, and get this organization to a point where we can hold ourselves up as the shining example of how organizations should operate, how people within the organization should behave, how people can work hard and be nice to each other at the same time. We have to treat each other with respect. We have to treat each other as, you know, intelligent people, as people who are here to do a good job. And everything that we're feeling from SHRM in this whole thing doesn't say any of that. You got a hot take from Glassdoor?
We got a little Glassdoor action pulled up over here.
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right, so we have the Glassdoor reviews of SHRM pulled up right now. Their company rating is a 3.6. Now, I find that interesting myself as someone who often recommends people go check out the Glassdoor reviews for a company. I kind of view it like a movie rating. Hear me out for a second. When you see a movie on IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes, if they're typically above 80%, you know it's going to be a good movie. If they're below 20%, I know it's going to be so bad, it's good, like laughable. But the ones in the middle are usually the most telling. You see something with a 60% on Rotten Tomatoes, it's not going to be worth your time, in my opinion. If we look at Glassdoor reviews, similarly, company in the 4 to 5 star rating, usually good. Company in a 1 to 2, I'm going to tell you right now that's usually going to be an influx of bad reviews that often come from a layoff or some other type of organizational something where the employees go en masse to go report them. Yeah. Something in the middle is going to raise a little bit more red flags to me. And so I pulled up the reviews and I have sorted them through most recent, right? So we're not just looking at most popular. As of November 17th, 1 star. November 14th, 1 star. October 29th, we got a 4-star. October 10th, 1 star. October 7th, 5 stars. So they're all across the map. What I have noticed is interesting, just by looking through these quickly. The 5-star reviews do look to be, or in the higher ones, they're very short reviews. All right. Pros, great workplace. Cons, like budget restraints and salary stuff. Very, very high level, which says to me someone might have been encouraging somebody to go leave a review here. The 0, 1-star reviews, those are, I think, very telling. Leadership does not care about what you have to say about anything. Leadership is very big brother. If this one I read about online too. If you arrive after 9 a.m., you have to be escorted by your chief to your workspace. They close the doors at 9:01.
Wow.
One report online said she saw a pregnant lady running for the door so she could get in by 9 a.m. That's absolutely insane. You must also stay until at least 5 p.m. You cannot flex your hours at all. Interesting. In most cases, you are expected to be on call at all times, and you are punished if you try to set boundaries. Interesting. Now, we know negative Glassdoor reviews also come from very disgruntled employees, but these are lining up with other articles that I've read about the company. Leaders are toxic and yell at their team members, degrade them in front of others. It can be very demoralizing. CEO is blind to this. Take it with a grain of salt. Cons. SHRM pressures staff to post fake positive reviews while facing discrimination lawsuits and backlash over gutting DEI. Leadership is corrupt. HR is complicit. I hate that.
Oh, my gosh.
And nepotism rules. Believe every negative review here. This company is as toxic as advertised. I'll stop there.
You know, and what's intriguing about that one statement about, you know, how employees are encouraged to write positive reviews in the face of these bad situations and so forth. I can tell you, I've consulted with companies that do that, you know, they actively pursue employees to write good things on Glassdoor. I mean, it's the other thing that's intriguing about that is that I got the sense from what you read, and I just, you know, listening along, that the things that are sort of, you know, 4 and 5 star positives, really, really kind of vague and high level. The things that are really not so positive are very detailed and very, very extensive, right, by comparison. Mm-hmm. And you make a good point, you know, disgruntled employees are going to grind an axe no matter what. But taken in context of some of the other things that we're hearing and that we know about these guys, I'm not surprised by any of it. In fact, I'm disappointed as hell, but I'm not surprised.
When you look at the dates, the lawsuit information just dropped in December. These reviews were going back to October. Mm-hmm. So, final thoughts on our hot take against SHRM. My hot take, don't be like them. Don't build an organization that is becoming more and more known for being toxic. If you want to be an HR, lead from the front, lead with integrity, lead with heart, and do your best to squash toxicity, discrimination, retaliation, and unfair layoffs. Not unfair. What's the word I'm looking for? There's an HR term for it. Even we forget them.
Yep. Afraid so. In the court hearing, the attorneys tried to plead to the judge, hey, just because we say that we are, it doesn't necessarily mean that we behave that way. I mean, it wasn't stated that way, but that was what they said. And the judge said, no, that's not true. You say what you are, you should be what you are. And the attorneys tried to get it thrown out, and the judge said no. And so, don't be like that.
This has been a Primal HR Hot Take. Agree? Disagree? Have your own take? We want to hear from you. Email us at primalhrpodcast@gmail.com. Primal HR, real people, real talk, real HR.